Hello, Disturbing Puppet back again, playing another game of Blood Bowl 2. So we're continuing with my High Elf team that I created not too long ago. So we've got a new campaign going. So this is my High Elf team, the Talons of Tiranoc. I haven't played a High Elf team before, so kind of wanted to do something a little different, play a little bit more agile team. Got Chaos Dwarfs coming up here. I made this competition recently. This is the third game of the competition, and I've already played the Undead team or Necromantic team, ended up in a tie, Goblin team who I beat, and now I've got one of the two Chaos Dwarf teams. I actually have two Chaos Dwarf teams in this competition, so that might make things a little harder. And then Skaven, Kislev Circus, and Vampires. I kind of set it up for a couple round robins. I kind of like to play all the teams playing each other a couple times and then kind of going in the playoffs. And just kind of a simple playoffs of the top 4 teams going in. So there's just kind of one playoff game and then one final. So take a look at the teams before we get started here. I have received a few upgrades, and then I bought an additional blitzer. I only started with one. My guys are really expensive, so it was kind of hard to fit what I wanted to start with. I definitely wanted to start with an apothecary, so that was kind of where a bunch of the money went. So I've got my typical thrower here, no upgrades. A couple catchers, so I actually really like the catchers quite a bit. One of whom I upgraded and got dodge with. One of the blitzers, the one I had before, upgraded last game and added tackle to him. I have a lineman that I added block with, and another lineman that I was able to add guard with because I rolled doubles for the level up. So let's check out the Chaos Dwarves here. This is actually the team I played last competition was the Chaos Dwarves. So no stat increases it looks like. Nobody's leveled up for his regular players, just his Bull Centaur. So the Bull Centaur will be a little bit of a problem. I'm kind of curious to see how the AI will play with them. I was kind of using them as typical blitzers. And just 4 hobgoblins. So what I might do is try to focus on taking out the hobgoblins, since everyone else has kind of a lower agility. That's a tactic I've used in the past against lizardmen pretty well. You can take out all of the skinks. The sauruses aren't really good at handling the ball otherwise. So a little background I always go into. I've been playing Blood Bowl since 2nd edition of the board game. Played Undead, and then I played quite a bit of the previous game on my Xbox 360, but it kind of had limited teams on there. So some of these teams, like the High Elves, I haven't played before. Mostly I've played kind of bruiser teams. In the board game I played Undead, and then for the Xbox 360 game, playing a lot of the bruiser teams. I think I played all the teams in there, but I actually had a lot of fun with the Wood Elves. They're quite agile, could move the ball around. It's kind of a nice change. So part of it, I think my inclination and my instinct, especially with the short time limit on the turns in this game, is to sort of hit stuff and make openings and go from there. But I really do kind of like to plan things out and do things that are more agile, throwing the ball around, being able to dodge in and out of people's tackle zones, that kind of stuff. I really do enjoy that kind of gameplay as well. It's just kind of, I have to get myself into that different sort of mindset, so I'm sort of forcing myself to do this. I played Undead in this game, and then I played the Chaos Dwarves through a campaign. So now I'm kind of doing the High Elves, and I want to do something a little different. So if I do something goofy, it's probably because my natural inclination is to hit stuff and make openings. I'm trying to get away from that, but not much I can do about it. I do wish I could pick the length of time for the turn limits. He's spending a lot of money on a couple guys here. With the previous game, I often did put the turn limits up to the max 8 minutes with the options, just so I didn't feel rushed with the time. With this, the max is 4 minutes, so sometimes I do kind of feel a little bit rushed about the times and stuff. So I'm an older player. I've been playing different kinds of Blood Bowl for a long time. But I still am going to screw things up. I'm not, super expert. I'll overlook stuff occasionally, especially streaming. I'm trying to talk and stuff at the same time. It happens. It's a pretty cool armor design there, actually, with the Chaos Dwarves. I'm curious to see what the guys he picked up were. Star players, probably Chainsaw Goblin. Oh, I got a Chaos Dwarf star player, yeah, and the Chainsaw Goblin. Okay. AI often seems to pick Chainsaw Goblin. That'll make things a little harder. So I'll try to include sort of some tips and things for people who might be newer to the game, things to think about. But I'm by no means a complete expert on all the teams and how to play and stuff. I do tend to prefer kicking the ball away if I have the option to guarantee I get the ball for the second half. With a lighter team or more agile team, with a team with really low armor, you might want to go first, just so you can get your hits in first. So I'm still kind of getting used to the way the guys look here. The catchers are pretty obviously different with the gloves here. It's pretty easy to see. The thrower a little bit easier, being kind of gold colored compared to everybody else, but the blitzers don't really stand out quite so much to me. Maybe I'm getting old and my vision is failing. There's the other blitzer. Put him on the front line. Okay. So putting my lineman with block on the front line. I just kind of want to put the minimum of 3 guys on the front line here. There's no way I can kind of outbeat the Chaos Dwarves on the front line here. So kind of a more of a in-depth defense here. I'm going to have my guy with guard back so I can move him up to assist if I need to and get those additional assists for blocks. Let's take a look at his star player here. 4 strength. It's actually got a 3 agility as well. Block and tackle. Or just tackle, actually, not block. Secret weapon. He can pass, Hail Mary pass, strong arm. Huh. So we actually have a Chaos Dwarf star player that's a passer. That's interesting. Let's see what he does with him. He might be someone I'll have to deal with if I can. Definitely not going to make things easier, that's for sure. So this is a fairly typical sort of setup I might do. With a more bruiser team, I'd probably have maybe 5 people on the front line, or have the 3 clustered together and then have people out here on the sides. With a team where I don't want to put as many guys on the front line, this sort of thing is pretty good. I've got overlapping tackle zones covering the area from one end of the field to the other. Guys are not directly adjacent to any of the opponents, so he doesn't have a chance to just throw blocks. You can only hit him with a blitz. Kind of limits how much damage you end up taking, at least hopefully. Yeah, he's throwing everybody he can on the front line there. Where is his star player? Can't tell from this angle for sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it here. I basically just want the ball to stay in play, so he'll have to make some die rolls to pick it up. I don't want it to end up off the side of the field, because then he'll be able to just choose who gets it right away. Of course, the kicks seem really inconsistent, so then it gets all the way over here. He's going to pick up the ball with the Chainsaw Goblin. Okay, that seems like a bad choice. I'm sure my frontline guys are just going to get pounded into the dirt here. Pretty much what I expect. Interesting with him having hobgoblins on the front line like that, though. And he's throwing blocks with the hobgoblins, which is kind of unusual, and that's why you don't do that. Does he not have any rerolls? I didn't look to see how many he had when I started up here. No, he's got rerolls, he just chose not to use one there. Okay. So a typical kind of thing in Blood Bowl is to do the safe things first, and then to do everything else, preferably important things. So anything you want to do that's relatively safe. With a more agile team, I'm typically going to be focusing on trying to score as fast as possible. The trick really is just getting the ball away from your opponent then, which can be the problem. I may just want to avoid being anywhere near his Chaos Dwarves here if I can. So I may end up getting him up later to dodge him out of that position. Now let's go ahead and throw a block on the ball carrier here. Let's see if we can knock the ball loose. Let's see where the ball ends up. If it ends up off the side, it's going to get thrown in somewhere random. Yeah, just like this. Alright, that works okay for me. I'm always hesitant to go for it because I've had really bad luck with going for it rolls, but we'll go ahead and at least try to be adjacent to the ball. And I'm actually just going to go for it, try to get the ball here. Now, the Bull Centaur is going to be mainly the one coming back after me here. So it'd be better to be here, at least have some assistance from my other player. I'll see if I can hang him up here too. May not be a bad idea. I'll end up taking a hit because of it, but oh well, sometimes somebody's got to get hurt. And try to just kind of hang up the other Chaos Dwarves here if I can. So now I've got an assist with my guy with block here, so that's relatively safe. I've got block, he doesn't. Go throw the block. Yeah, good, KO. I kind of often will leave somebody back here just in case things go horribly, horribly wrong. It's not a bad idea generally. And I don't really need to hold these guys up. There's such short movement that they can't really do much. So I'm just going to try to avoid getting hit. And just kind of hang out in the area in case things go really wrong here at some point. I did move my guy with guard up here, so I do have an assist. I could throw a block, but he's got block and I don't. It's a little risky. I don't really want to waste a reroll here, but we can give it a shot, I guess. Yeah, the push doesn't really help me. I don't want to move him anywhere closer to the ball carrier. So we'll call that good for the first turn. My first turn, anyway. So mainly I'm kind of looking at what he's going to do. The Bull Centaur's really the only one who can go for the ball carrier. I can't imagine he would dodge out of there. Yeah, he's going to try. Let's see if he'll make the reroll or not. Oh, that's too bad. I was hoping he'd fail. Another attacker down result for him. So what are my options here? So I could move him here, grab the ball, and I would have enough movement if I went for it twice to get into the end zone. I could also just kind of move out, grab the ball, move over, try to get it to the catcher, and then have him run in. He wouldn't have to make any going for it rolls. I'll just have to move him, so we'll go ahead and try to do something about this Chaos Dwarf here first. Now, if I was just going to leave this guy here, that's not a bad idea to go ahead and get him up. He is my guy with block, so it's relatively safe. If it wasn't him, I would probably want to pull that person out. Since it is my guy with block, I can just kind of leave him there to hang up some guys in case things go wrong. Anybody else, I would probably be looking at dodging them out of there. You have to do everything with the player before you move on to the next one, so that's something to kind of keep in mind. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and try to get out of here, get the ball, get good chances. All right, we'll use a reroll there. So if I hadn't used a reroll, my kind of plan moving over to here, tossing the ball to the catcher isn't terrible. Without a reroll, it's a little bit more iffy. But if I just run down here, I'm going to get just wailed on again by the Bull Centaur. Yeah, let's go for the dramatic thing, see if we can make a short little pass here. Nice. Yep, so we'll just run in and score. Part of the thought process there too is I've already received an upgrade with that blitzer, so getting star player points to other players is always a good idea. Try to spread it out if you can. He's got one guy still knocked out. That's nice. And that gets rid of his secret weapon guys. So both of his star players he spent that points on are gone. So that's another good advantage to scoring as quickly as possible there. Or actually, my guy who got that in looks like he was the one that had an upgrade. Oh well. I would like to, since the catchers have a 3 strength, they're actually pretty good at dealing with ball carriers as well. So if I could get block with them as well as dodge, it'd make them really good for both getting the ball away from your opponent and moving the ball down the field. So yeah, I did like the setup, so I'm just going to kind of stick with that. Don't really see a reason to change it here at this point. He's changing things up. -1 to catch, intercept, and pickup rolls. Okay. Make it a little harder for him. Again, it doesn't go very far. The kicks seem to be something that deviates quite a bit. I don't have anybody with the kick skill to kind of make that a little bit better. And there's a failure and a reroll. Be nice if he doesn't get it, because then it would be a turnover. Yeah, nice. So if you screw something up like that, it means your opponent gets to go immediately. So that's why safe things, then important things. So he screwed up something important, but he's not going to get a chance now to beat on all my guys in the front line, that kind of thing. And I've got a chance to go after the ball as well. So I can get around to throw a block on this Hobgoblin. I could use my catcher just kind of here to get an assist for that blitz, and then also maybe make it harder for him to pick up the ball. It'd be nicer to actually have him to actually go grab the ball if I can move this Hobgoblin away from it. So if that's the plan, then I kind of want to look at what can I do to make things more difficult for him. That's safe for me as far as movement goes. So just kind of moving guys up that are going to hang up his players. It does mean I might get pounded on a little bit. All right, I don't want to overcommit quite yet too much, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. I will have to go for it in order to make the block. So things could still go horribly wrong. I've got no rerolls. Yeah, push is fine. I just want to move him away from the ball. Move my other blitzer over here just in case I need him at some point on this side. And although it is a negative to pick up the ball, I still have a 67% chance. I'm going to go for it. Quite close to a lot of his guys. Most of them are hung up. He does have a couple hobgoblins here that might come after me. This one's totally free, so I'm pretty much guaranteed to be taking a hit here. So I can try to stay next to my blitzer here, might offer a tiny bit of protection, or just try to get away as much as I can. Because the dwarves have such slow movement, that might not be a bad idea, but mostly he'll try to be coming after me with the hobgoblins. Maybe try to pull the bull centaur out of here too. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort of move down here a little bit. I don't know about going for it. I have such bad luck going for it. We'll go one. So if you screw something up, you can see how your opponent can kind of quickly take advantage of it. Like I'm trying to do, anyway. So let's see what he can do with his hit here. It's just a 1 die. Just a push, okay, that's fine. Sure, most of these guys who are adjacent to his players are just going to get beaten into the ground here. I'm just kind of hoping, no injuries, that kind of thing. I know I'm going to get beat up, but if I just get knocked around and knocked down a little bit, that's fine. It's the injuries I'm more concerned about. And I've got an apothecary for that, so hopefully it won't go too badly. So I'm still looking at, I would like to keep his guys hung up, so I'm just going to kind of stand these guys up. Instead of trying to dodge them out of there, I want to keep as few of his guys available as possible. If I can take out this guy, I can actually get around with my blitzer here too. It's a little dangerous to be throwing blocks in a situation, even with 2 dice. I've got no skills, but he's got block, so it's a little dangerous. Go for it, though. It'll help me get my other blitzer around here. In case things go wrong, I've at least got him there to possibly help deal with something. I've got a straight up block here with my blitzer as well. It's not super critical, but other than going for dodges to get to the end zone, I don't have a whole lot else that I can really do, unless I want to throw a block on the hobgoblin out this way. I think we'll try for the 2 dice block on the side. Could be my natural inclination to hit stuff is kind of coming to the fore here too much, and I should just be going for more agile actions. I'm going to get away from the edge here, and we can get right in for a touchdown. It's one thing that's kind of surprising sometimes when you go from kind of a bruiser team that's so slow to move up and down the field, and a lot of times you're only scoring 2 times in a whole game, and then switching to a more agile team, and if everything goes right, you can actually score very, very quickly, just over and over again. The problem is getting the ball away from the opponent. So again, I don't really see any reason to adjust things here too much. I will go ahead, though, and swap out one of my linemen so that all of my players will have played in the game, so they'll all have a chance to get the MVP award. And he's not changing anything. Kind of do the same thing. We just want the ball to stay on the pitch. The rain goes away, which is too bad. It's a much better kick / throw. It just shows me throwing it for whatever reason. But so you want to make him roll those dice to try to get the ball. At the very least, he'll use up his rerolls as quickly as possible. And sometimes he'll fail twice in a row, and it works out great. So this time he's going to try probably to build a cage around the ball carrier, slowly grind his way through my guys, since everything's going fine for him so far. So we'll just kind of see how things go. Okay, good. Stand on my feet. That's always helpful. Throwing a block with the Hobgoblin, kind of surprising, but it works out for him. Okay. So since I'm just looking at a Hobgoblin here and I've got block, I will kind of leave him there. I'm not looking at moving him out of that position. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is move my guy with guard up here, which will give him an assist if I want to throw a block later. And looking at trying to move him around the sides here towards the ball carriers and his escorts. My guys aren't super fast, but relatively quick. Especially since I was playing Chaos Dwarves last time. So many guys are very slow. So I can kind of move around relatively safely. I don't want to, super overcommit. It's not as big of a deal. When you're playing a slower team like Dwarves or Chaos Dwarves, you do have to kind of worry about overcommitting when you're going after the ball carrier. If you overcommit to one side, you're so slow to move that's difficult if things get switched the other way, other direction. So I'm just kind of leaving the bare minimum of guys here. In case things go wrong, we've got a couple guys deep. So I do have the opportunity to throw a block with a couple dice, so we'll see if we can actually get anything out of it. All right. I would assume he's probably going to move the ball carrier and everybody up right around here, move the other Chaos Dwarfs in to sort of protect the ball carrier. It may make it hard to get to the ball, but I've got guys on either side. I can come at him from the sides and the back. So we'll see what he does. I'm going the other way. Yeah, building a good cage around the ball carrier. Trying to tie my guys up. Beating up my poor players. Which luckily I haven't actually been beaten up too badly in this game. I've had some pretty rough games when you're playing a more agile team against a bruiser team, but the high elves have pretty decent armor, so you're relatively safe. Relatively, that is, anyway. So do I want to leave him here to tie these guys up, or do I want to get him away? Probably want to get him away, so I'm going to wait to do anything with him, because it'll be trying to dodge away. What I need to do is move him up as well, so I throw a block here that was advantageous. I have a couple dice, I've got block, he doesn't. And then just sort of being out in this direction, restricting where he can come at me from. I've got advantageous block here, and then I'll have a guy free. Those are something I'll do a little bit later, kind of focusing on trying to get to the ball here first. So he's got dodge, I'll try to get him out of there. So I could move him to have an assist, so then I could blitz with the blitzer here on either the Hobgoblin or the Chaos Dwarf blocker. Just trying to think of which one might be more advantageous. I think trying to get the blocker out of there would be more helpful. So the plan will be to blitz from here to there. What I'll then do is throw a block here, and I'll use him to get an assist. Just trying to break the cage he's got built here. Follow it up, be adjacent to the ball carrier. Oh, I actually got an injury too, that's pretty cool. Don't see that too often. It's heavily armed guys. We'll be out for the rest of the game. So we'll then throw the block here. And just a push, that's not super helpful. Don't really want him adjacent to the ball carrier, so push him out that way. So let's see if I can actually do anything here with this block. Just shoving him around. So now I have my guy with guard here free. So what I'm going to do is move him in a position where there's multiple guys adjacent. Possibly make it easier to go for the ball carrier here, but he's going to be a main target. He's going to go for probably with the bull centaur. Just lay him out probably. And then we'll try to get out of here with this guy. And we'll just kind of hang out in case things go horribly bad. So let's see what he's going to do. Yep, hammer my guy with guard. Just a push, that's good. Taking down my blitzer, unfortunately. He's just shuffling his guys around. Makes the dodge. And he's pulling that guy out of there. Okay. Could be a whole lot worse. Just looking at what I'm going to do in case things go really wrong. The plan will probably be to blitz with the blitzer, hit the ball carrier, and we'll kind of see where the ball goes from there. And here we're just sort of tying up these guys in case things go wrong, getting some coverage of the field. Doing those safe things first, or safe-ish things. So this guy will give me the assist. And you can blitz if you're down, you just have to select blitz before stand up. All right, see where the ball ends up. Yeah, I didn't really want him to get the ball anyway. So I could move him over, try to pick up the ball, move, throw the ball, and then make a run. I wouldn't even have to go for it to get into the end zone there. That's my best option for like a quick score. I do have a couple turns. I've got an even block on the Chaos Dwarf, I mean the Bull Centaur here. But we both have blocks, so it's not anything super great. It's kind of risky. Of course, I was trying to pick up the ball and tossing it. But we'll try for the ball pickup and toss. Even from here, it's not terrible. Moving closer is tempting. I don't really like being on the edge of the field. I've got enough guys around, it's probably safe. I don't really want to get pushed off the side. And it doesn't affect the percentage for the pass, though, unfortunately. We'll go for it. And we failed the pass roll. So you want to sort of prepare for things going totally not the way you want. Hoping things do go the way you want, but sort of expecting or planning that they might not. Let's see if he'll pick up the ball. It's his last turn, so he can't score. I'm not sure if I'll be able to score. Super aggressive. Of course, I'm still going to end up getting pushed off. Even with my additional guys there, I have to choose between going down or pushed. Either way, I'm thrown off the field. Hopefully not getting injured by the crowd here. But it does mean he'll be out until the next play. Yeah, now he's kind of beating me up here a little bit. No, that's too bad. With him being stunned, I can't use him to go after the ball carrier. It's one thing I noticed, it's still sort of transitioning, but your timer's counting down already. I didn't really notice that for the first number of games that I played, but you sort of end up losing about 5 seconds there if you're waiting for that to resolve. If I go for it, I can, and want to deal with a bunch of dodges, I can have him actually blitz the ball carrier, possibly looking at him then to try to get the ball if it gets loose and then run it in. I could do the same here, one dodge, and then have to go for it once to hit him. But having block would be really nice if I'm going to do that with only one die. Actually, I don't have enough movement, do I? 7, that's 3 to get up, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I can throw the block from there, go for it once. One die. It's a little risky, but yeah, sure, why not? It's dramatic, it's the end of the half here. Make our dodges. Oh, we do level him. Nice. Push him out this way. Let's see where the ball ends up. Now, unfortunately, it's next to one of his guys. Make the dodge. Got to dodge and roll to pick it up. We do. One more dodge. And we're home free. Sweet. End the half on another touchdown. It has been so long since I played an agile team. It's just kind of shocking seeing how quickly you can score. (3-0). Yeah, agile teams, if you can get a lot of scores in, you get so many star player points for the touchdowns that you can really rack up those levels. Add a bunch more skills and stuff. I'm a little worried about long term. I was kind of used to the agile teams I played before being, the wood elves and having a treeman and war dancers and all that to kind of deal with situations if things go really wrong. With this, I've got no additional guys with additional strength or anything like that. So he's kicking to me, so he's set up first. So I can kind of set up in response if I want to. It's got kind of an unusual setup here already that it's sort of selected for me, which is a little bit much, I think. I don't really even look at these presets very often. I want my guy with block. They're in the middle. I definitely do not want a blitzer there. I want my blitzers free to hit his hobgoblins. That's what I want. So where's my lineman with guard? So he's got nobody on the line here, so it's safe to move up as much as I can, be right on the line, and help me get towards the end zone. That additional movement can be really important if you're playing a slow team. I'm going to keep my guy with guard here. I could go ahead and put him in the line. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We kind of have a lopsided line here. I like symmetry, but the assists mean I can go ahead and throw the blocks pretty easy right away if I want to. So definitely going to keep my passer deep, so he's the one to go after the ball, try to grab it, throw it to somebody. So he's got kind of a center defense, bull centaur in the middle, kind of react to anything that happens. Hobgoblins on the sides. Mainly I'm looking at is trying to hurt his hobgoblins if I can, get the ball going. All right, I get to move somebody up. So see if we can just catch it as it comes down. Nice. Okay, so I'm planning to attack this side. It's already weaker. So on this side, I can sort of hang guys up if I can. And we're going to blitz here and hit the hobgoblin, see if we can hurt him. I'm kind of moving out here, sort of looking at if I want to get the ball to the catcher and then have him adjacent to him down the field, have at least a tiny bit of protection. It's not much, but something. It's tempting to just have my thrower run it down as well, just because I want to get him to get some star player points would be really nice. Can't really make it that far. So go ahead and try to get the block here since it's got a good chance. I can move a little further if I can get this guy out of position, so I am going to go ahead and try to throw a block here. I'm actually going to throw it with my guy with guard, just because if I screw up I still have somebody here. If I fail here, it makes it a lot easier for me to get around this side towards my ball carrier. Okay, that turns out alright. And that'll free up another person I can use to kind of guard my carrier. So move out to here, and then I've got a couple players I can move up to guard him. So definitely not a perfect cage or anything, but he's got a limited number of guys kind of here in the center that can make it over. Mostly it's the bull centaur who's going to be coming over trying to hammer people, try to get to the ball carrier. He may just nail the lineman on the end here and then expect to try to get through next turn. And I'm kind of curious to see how the AI is going to play the bull centaurs, knowing how I used them last season when I was playing them, just to kind of compare, see if it's doing anything unusual or different that I hadn't thought of before. Why is he going for that side? I guess he just wants to hurt my catchers, maybe? And, well, there's an injury. No long-term effect, I'll kind of take that, that's fine. I pretty much save my apothecary for deaths or permanent stat reductions. Most notably, strength is kind of the most important one. Yeah, he didn't use a reroll there. Took the turnover. I guess it didn't think it was that important. So just to try to hang up his guys here in case things go wrong, we'll move over. Still sort of planning on running it down with the thrower here if I can, just because I want him to get as many points as possible. He does get a point for each pass that's successful, but would be nicer to get a touchdown. So just doing what I can to hang up his guys. Yeah, go with that. Him, I'd like to get out of that position. A player with guard here isn't doing me much good either, so getting him out of there and around would be helpful as well. So we'll start with him. See if we can dodge out of here. I'll try to free up my guy with guard. If I move here, I've got a potential block. I could move him a little further down, have some additional assists here, which is probably a little better. And I'm just going to do that for now. And since I haven't blitzed, I could try to dodge him out of here and just kind of throw a block on the Hobgoblin just for fun. So we may go ahead and do that if we can make our dodge roll. Good. Actually going to stay here just in case. And then we'll move over a bit here. In case things go wrong, he'll be totally free to kind of take advantage, make some moves. He might end up moving the dwarves or hobgoblins on him to cover him. He may end up just blitzing him with his bull centaur. It's kind of odd of him to take the bull centaur all the way out here, but he does have a decent number of guys kind of going after the ball carrier. But I've got him pretty well contained, I think. He's just going to blitz another random person by themselves. It's like he's given up on trying to win. He just wants to hurt stuff. I'm surprised he didn't use a reroll there. So I do have one or two advantageous blocks I can throw. So I'm probably going to go ahead and do that before I move the ball in for the touchdown. So we'll start here where I've got some skills that'll match up fairly well. So I kind of did that so I'd still have an advantageous block here because I moved my guy with guard up. So I'll go after the hobgoblins here. That's not good. That's better. So since I used the reroll already that I had, now it's much more tempting to just go ahead and run him in to score. My instinct is, of course, to at least throw this block here where I have an advantage. If I screw it up, it's kind of bad. So I'm going to fight my instincts to hit stuff and just get the points. So that'll also level up my thrower, which will be very helpful long term. Just making sure the placement of my guys will have some skills. Since I'm setting up first, I'm just going to put a lineman out there. Since I do have the 4 agility with everybody, it does mean that pretty much any of my players are potential ball carriers, passers, catchers, with at least some skill. So it's not super risky to have your lineman out there. I guess that's why your guys are super expensive for high elves. Really, all the elf teams, they're quite high because of the 4 agility pretty much across the board with all your players. So kind of a similar setup there, not really changed much. He's got way more guys on the front line. So again, I'm just trying to keep the ball in play. Unfortunately, he'll have a chance to pick it up. He's really having a dwarf try to catch the ball. And he failed. Nice. So at least have to make a roll to try to pick up the ball. Whenever you're making a roll, that means there's always a chance you can fail it, and that's always helpful. Make your opponent roll as many dice as possible. They're going to fail eventually. If you're a bruiser team, try to hit stuff as much as possible. The more dice you roll, the more your chance of hurting people. That gives you star player points that way. My frontline guys will get beat up here. That's kind of the way it goes. Just trying to limit the number of guys who get beat up, that's all. Again, blocking with his hobgoblin, kind of unusual choice. But having the bull centaur back to help guard the ball carrier is not a bad idea. And I don't have a good way through on this side to get in. I could throw a block and blitz the Chaos Dwarf on the end to try to create an opening to get through. I'm definitely going to move these guys in and see what we can do. I could even hit this guy just in the back if I want. Kind of on the way towards the ball carrier, which isn't a terrible idea, actually. Move my player with guard up here just to kind of tie up the dwarves. And we'll go ahead and blitz here and hit this guy. Kind of on our way towards the ball. And I'd like to keep some of these guys free, so I'm just sort of tying up some of his players here. I want these guys free so I can act with them next turn relatively freely. He might try to tie him up, and then we'll leave my thrower back just as kind of my safety net. I can try to throw an even block here, but with no rerolls, nah, it's all right. I do have quite a few guys that are possibly going to get beat up this turn, but I'm just kind of hoping that the armor will see them through. Pin down as much of his team as possible. He's actually running towards my guys. Okay. Most likely he's going to blitz here with the Bull Centaur, either at my catcher or my blitzer. Nope, just building a cage. Okay, that's a little surprising. Yeah, very aggressive block here, but almost always this pays off for the AI. It seems like they're always throwing these kind of blocks where I get to choose the result, but it's almost always two bad results. Bad results for me, that is, anyway. I do want to keep these guys hung up, so I'm just going to kind of leave him there for now. I've got my guy with block who already has an advantageous position. And we're just going to leave this guy here as well. So I've got these two on the end. Try to get in here and cause some problems. Throw the block on the Hobgoblin here first. It's too bad, we're just going to push. Yeah, I can't really get to the ball. I can get either a hit on this goblin here, Hobgoblin. I can get an advantageous block here, trying to get in towards the ball carrier. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to do, is attack from this side. So if you can at least clear out one guy here and get adjacent to the ball carrier. The angle you come in from for blocks does dictate the angle you can push guys to, so that's something to kind of keep in mind when you want to throw blocks and positioning, just to be aware of. So I do have a few advantageous blocks here. We'll go ahead and give them a shot. Kind of afraid if I move around here to get an assist that I'm then sort of leaving things a little bit too weak here in the center. Not a lot of ability to respond if things go really badly. So I'm just going to kind of shuffle down over here. Keep him free in case things go really wrong, or I might need an emergency assist or something somewhere. I've got my catcher here free as well, but just sort of being in the vicinity where I can possibly cause problems or get to the ball if it comes loose is generally helpful. I'm a little worried the Bull Centaur is just going to plow into him. You would think he'd probably go after the blitzer instead, but you never know. So I've got a 1-die block I can throw here, but there's no real advantage. If I had block, I might do that, but yeah, in this kind of situation, I'm just going to let it go. I'm trying to resist that urge to hit things too much. It's kind of my natural instinct from having played past teams that are bruisers. Try to focus more on agility, agile play, thinking what you're going to do ahead of time. Again, he's throwing these really aggressive blocks, and they're going to turn out good because he's got block. And even if I had dodge, he's got tackle. I really would like to have some more rerolls. It would be quite nice. Starting off with only one feels really hard sometimes. Gotta get so many guys down all over the place. Poor guys. I'm just thinking about whether or not I'm going to blitz with the guys that are down or not to start with. Just kind of contemplating for a second before making the decision to get them up, since you have to do everything with the player before you move on to the next one. And here I just kind of want to tie things up if I can. I don't want these guys coming over. So just trying to get things clear towards the ball carrier if I can. Push doesn't help me too much here. Running the gauntlet here. I do like that you can do everything just one step at a time if you want. Sometimes it can help you kind of figure out what you're going to do. You want to see those die rolls. You don't want to decide to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff and then just let it roll. Try each thing at a time, especially if you have a reroll free. You can decide then for the first thing, okay, it went okay, I didn't use the reroll, now I can do the next thing. Okay, that went okay, I didn't have to use the reroll, now I can do the next thing. If you have to use the reroll right away, you can decide, okay, I'll stop there. And I'm just going to have to throw them right in here. Still have my thrower here free. Got a block I can throw here with a couple dice. So, yeah, we'll try for that, I guess. If we can take him out, free up my blitzer for next turn anyway. Yeah, for right now, I could move the thrower up and somewhere to kind of make dodge rolls through here a little harder, but he could go out, depending, throwing blocks and then go out this way. He could throw blocks and go out this way. He could throw blocks and just come straight. So for right now, I've got enough movement. I can cover most of the field from here. I'm just going to hang out, and we'll just wait and see if he can get break out of there and which direction before I make any decisions. Stun, unfortunate. Throwing a blitz here right in the front. One die, but it turns out good for him. One die does not turn out good for him. Use the reroll. Good, stay on my feet. That's always good. Stay on my feet here too. That's always helpful. So where are you going with the ball carrier? Okay. Alright, I'm just going to have him stand up to sort of hang up this guy for now. Since my blitzer's free, we want to try to get him down in case we can help out here next turn. It's too far away now. Yeah, I've at least got a block here, so we'll try for that. And just a push is unfortunate. Yeah, I'll try to get out of here. I can move over. It's tempting to go ahead and go for it, be adjacent to the ball carriers to cause some problems. But that, whether he's there or there, either way, he's probably getting nailed by the Bull Centaur. So I'll make it so he'll at least have to use a blitz to kind of deal with him. It's not a great position here. I've got some one-off blocks I could try against hobgoblins that might help out a little bit. If I can get out of here, I can tie up with this guy, so we won't be able to come over. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. And I still have my thrower back here. So I'll go ahead and try for a block here, just because why not? It's not going to matter one way or the other too much. The other block, a little too risky. I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. Most likely he'll try to break out to the side here. So I'm going to move one over, so I'll be able to move all the way to the edge of that problem in case I need to. Yeah, blitzing my catcher. Just a push. So he'll stay on his feet. That's nice. That's too bad. I don't mind necessarily going down, but it'd be nice to stay on the field. Yeah, so here at least I can choose a push instead of going down. Just creeping ahead with his ball carrier a little bit, trying to get his cage going, protecting them. He is making it a little hard to get to the ball carrier. He's throwing a lot of these one-die blocks. I'm just kind of hoping that, like that, they'll turn out bad for him. Be nicer if that happened earlier, but you take what you get. I don't know if he had anybody left to actually do anything with. So we'll move my player with guard on up adjacent to the ball carrier. And from here, if I can make the dodge roll, I can come down and hit him. That looks like probably my best option. So if that fails, what I want to do, I want to keep the hobgoblins occupied. So see if we can make the dodge roll out of here. All right, no problem. Just a push. That's too bad. I am going to follow just to kind of make things more difficult. Unfortunately, he's got a good way he can dodge out to the side here. So we'll try to have to deal with that. I still have my thrower I could use for that. So I can move up adjacent to the ball carrier. And try to get out of there. Actually, just come around so I can throw a block there if I want to. I like to get my catcher away from the bull centaur as well. And I'm just going to leave him down here, sort of covering the edge. So I'll try to go for this block here. I'm just kind of shifting around here to get an advantageous block on the end against the Hobgoblin. See if we can do anything. Yeah, just a push. So we're trying to make it difficult for him anyway. And that's about all I can do for the turn. And that was my last turn, so this will be his last turn. I don't think it's possible he can score. I didn't actually count out the movement. Most likely not. No, I don't think there's any way he can score. Double attacker down. Nice. It's a good end of the game there. Yeah, things went pretty well. I'll take 50,000 winnings, that's fine. Increase my fan factor. So 4 touchdowns, 1 pass, 9 armor breaks, no armor breaks. Ball possession, pretty similar. Occupation of opponent's half, much higher for me. 92 yards running, actually, it's quite a bit. Same for both, 1 injury inflicted on each side. I had a lot more blocks sustained, but only 2 KOs and 1 casualty. So my armor kind of keeping me alive there. Pretty good mix of star player points. Very nice. So in first place, 2 wins, 1 draw. Then we've got Kiss of Circus, 1 and 2. Skaven, 1 and 1 and 1. Chaos Dwarf, 1 1 and 1. Which is not the team I just played. Vampires, 3 draws. Or was this the team I just played? I'll have to look. I don't think it was the Obsidian Bloodseekers. It must have been the Blasted Bull Gods. So 1 win, 2 losses. Goblins, 1 win, 2 losses. Necromantic, 2 draws, 1 loss. So next I'll be playing Skaven, Furry Entertainers. Or was that Kislev? Furry Entertainers. Yeah, Kislev. It's Furry Entertainers. Okay. Yeah, I did just play Blasted Bull Gods. Okay, not the Obsidian Bloodseekers. So you can see here, I kind of wonder sometimes how it comes up with these results for the scores and things. But 2 to 2, 2 to 1. Alright, let's see what kind of level ups we got for my guys. Just 2 guys. Thrower and a catcher. We got doubles. Typical thing there would probably be to just go for strong arm then, since it's not something I can usually get. I can also take an armor point or a movement point. Movement wouldn't be too bad, but most likely I'm just kind of grabbing the ball and then throwing it. I'm not carrying it too often, so I'm going to go ahead and take strong arm, since it's something I can't usually get. And I have a catcher. Yeah, so most likely I'll just do the same thing I did to the other one, which is to take dodge. Block is really tempting, though. Yeah, we'll go with dodge. Next might be block for these guys. We'll level up some more. Then I can use them both as sort of blitzers and catchers, runners. And then, of course, with my thrower, it'd be really nice to have something like sure hand, so I have a better chance of picking up the ball, kickoff return, stuff like that. Blitzer's looking more at after block and tackle, something like shadowing, strip ball. Those are kind of things I usually go for. Right now, I'm kind of trying to save up enough money to get another team reroll. I'm not quite there yet. But I think that's going to be about it for today. It's kind of tempting to play another game, but I really need to eat something. So thank you very much for watching. This is Disturbing Puppet, and I put stuff up here on Twitch, and then we'll occasionally, usually a week or so later, put stuff up on my YouTube channel, which is also Disturbing Puppet. So if you want to check out earlier games and stuff, earlier seasons there, I haven't put up the earlier games from this season yet, but they're all still on Twitch. So if you want to check out the earlier games, I've got some from my Chaos Dwarf team up on YouTube, and that's Disturbing Puppet as well. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a nice day. Thanks.